Hello children, I am Mr. Varanasi Durga Prasad, postgraduate teacher in physical sciences, working at AP Residency School Girls, Tumalpenta, SPSR, Nellore district. Hi children, how are you? I think you are all safe and safety at home. Very good. Now, I am going to teach a physical science lesson of 10th class, part 1. Yes. Do you know refraction? I can recall some of the concepts of refraction which you have learnt in the previous classes or lower classes. Yes, light shows number of interesting phenomena. So now we are going to understand, or we are going to read some of the concepts of refraction of light. Very good. First, I will do something. Please observe here. This is a vessel of opaque walls. See, this is a coin. I am placing, or I am keeping this coin in this one here. See here, the coin is in the vessel. Now, if I observe this one, I cannot see the coin. Okay. Now the coin is not visible to me. Now I am pouring some of the water slowly. Yes. See here, when I stand here, now the coin is visible to me. In the previous case, the coin is not visible. Now it is visible in me. Why the coin is visible to me? This is the first question. And then come to the second observation. See here, this is a glass tumbler. This is a lemon. See, please observe the size of the lemon. Now I am placing this one here. See again. Now I am pouring some water so that the lemon can sink. Now you please observe the size of the lemon. The size of the lemon. What is the size of the lemon? See, the size is bigger than its actual size. So why it is happening? This is the second question to you. Very good. Again, I can take, see here, this is a glass vessel. Now I am placing this metal stick here. You please observe, you cannot find any distortion in the metal scale. Now I am going to pour water. Yes, if you observe it carefully, the lower portion is there is a difference between the lower portion and upper portion. That means the portion which lies in the water and also the portion which lies in the air. There is some bending of this steel rod. There is some bending of the steel rod. It appears to be like that. So this is the third question. Why it is happening here? So these three are the observations I have shown you. Now I can ask some questions. First one is, why the coin has not appeared directly? Whenever we are pouring water, after a few seconds, automatically the coin comes to the visible range. What is the reason for this? And second one is, I have taken a lemon in the glass tumbler and also poured some water. Whenever the lemon immersed in the water, the size of the lemon is bigger than its actual size. And the third one is, I have taken a glass tumbler and placed a steel rod. Now I poured some water. When the portion of the metal rod lies in the water, the next portion is in the air. So there is a difference between the portions of the water portion and the air portion. That means there is a bending of stick at the interfaces of the two media. Why these are happening? So this is nothing but refraction. Refraction. That means refraction of light. Again, I can told a simple thing. For example, you ask your friend. Please ask your friend. You and your friend is going to do something. So you move on to the long wall, say about 30 meters. Then you stand here at the one end of the wall and ask your friend to come at the second end of the wall with a bright metal crucible or bright metal object. If the object is placed just a few inches from the wall, whenever you are observing, the metal vessel appears as very bright, and also you can observe a distortion of the object, and also you can observe the image of the object on the wall. That means here an image is generating, and also you can find the distortion of the object. Why it is happening? Because the wall behaves like a mirror. Why it is behaving like a mirror? Why the object, the image is falling on the wall, and also why there is a distortion. So in this case also the light is undergoing refraction. So in all these four examples, the light is peculiarly showing a special effect that is called refraction of light at plane surfaces. Refraction of light at plane surfaces. Now we are going to discuss, or we are going to learn something about the refraction of light at plane surfaces. So yes, I am going to recall the activity just now I have executed. That is taking a tumbler or a vessel with opaque walls, and then I have placed a coin in that vessel, and again I poured some water. Before that, I am observing that coin. It is not appearing. It is at the bottom of the vessel. Yes. Now again I am pouring the water. Yes. Now it is again coming to my view. I am easy to observe that coin. So here again I am going to ask two questions. First, I have placed, or I have kept the coin in this vessel with opaque walls. In that position, when I am away from this vessel, standing away from this vessel, I am unable to see that coin. But whenever I am pouring the water, progressively the coin is appearing. After a few seconds, it came into my view. In the first instance, why it has not appeared, or why it is not in the visible region of my eye? That is the first question. And second question, whenever I am pouring water, after a few seconds it came into my eye existence. So why it is happening? So we have to reveal the answers. In the first case, whenever there is no water, the light rays are originating from the coin and they are unable to reach my eye. See here, the coin is here at the bottom of the vessel. The light rays are emerging or originating from this point, but these rays are not unable to reach my eye. That's why whenever there is no possibility of reaching of light rays, we cannot see the object. Whenever we have poured the water, automatically the rays again which are originating from the coin passing through the water, and at the interface of the air and the water, they have bended. Due to that bending, now I am able to see the coin. So the rays are reaching the eye. So here there is some phenomena is developing, or phenomena is generating. That is, here the light rays are bending at the interface of the air medium and the water medium. So that's why now the height of the coin has been raised from the bottom. The height of the coin has raised from the bottom of the vessel. Really it is not rising. It's a virtual one. That's why the rays are coming from this coin and originating from the coin, and at the interface of these two media they are bending. So that's why the coin came into my vision. So why it is happening? That is the question. Yes, we can say this can be explained by Fermat's principle. He is a scientist. Mr. Fermat is a scientist. So this process can be explained by Fermat's principle. How it can explain? See, in general, light waves when are moving in a media from one point to one point or between 2 points, they can move in straight line paths. So, straight line path. So, whenever they are reach one point to another point, they can need a short interval of time. They can need short interval of time to reach that place. That means they can follow the a minimum or short interval of time. So that's why the rays which are originating from this coin moving in this path, that is they have chosen that special type of path to reach our eye. That's why they are bending. That's why they are bending. So this Fermat's principle applied here. Because of that explanation, we can explain this concept. So whenever they are bending, what happens? Physically, what happens? See, generally the light waves possess velocity. That is velocity of light. So whenever the light is moving in a medium, it automatically it possesses with the same velocity. That means, for example, you take vacuum. In vacuum, light takes the velocity of 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. Similarly, in another medium, light also passes. But there is a difference between the vacuum and the other medium. So here the reason for bending is the velocity of the light is changing here. The velocity of the light is changing here. Whenever the light is coming from one medium to another medium, there is a change in velocity. Due to that change in velocity, the velocity has changed in its direction. Whenever there is a change in velocity, the light rays change its direction. Due to change of the direction, there is a bending. So we are appearing that bending. We are considering that bending. What is the real cause for that bending is there is a change in velocity of light from one medium to another medium at the interface of the two media. That's why the light has chosen particular path. In that path, when it moves, automatically it can reach the other point in a short interval of time, because of that law, Fermat's law. So here the velocity of light is changing between the interfaces of the two media. So now I can define the refraction in the novel way. Generally, we can say what is refraction. If we ask what is refraction, generally students can say, sir, there is a bending of light. Whenever light is moving from one medium to another medium, at the interface of the two media, the light rays can bend. This bending is called as refraction. No, that is not the correct definition. Here, see here, I can define the refraction of light. See, whenever there is a light passing between from one medium to another medium, the velocity of the light changes at the interface of the both the media, so that it can choose the path so that it can reach the other point in a short interval of time. That's why the bending appears. This total concept is known as refraction of light. Right. Whenever the light is passing in this way, so this is the interface of the medium. So at the interface of the medium, it can bend. That means the light undergoes refraction. But whenever the light is incidenting normally means normal. So this is the interface of the both media. This is the velocity of, this is the light ray. It is incidenting to the surface of the media. So at that point, it cannot refract. You cannot any difference in the path of the light. You cannot find any refracted ray. So this is the condition for normal incidence of ray of light. Yes. Now here I am considering two cases. See here, first one, this is medium 1 and this is medium 2. Medium 1 and medium 2. This A and B is the interface of the both media. AB is the line, interface line of both the media. Now a ray of light is passing from medium 1 to medium 2. Here please observe, this is medium 1 and medium 2. AB is the interface of the two media or both media. Here a ray of light is passing from medium 1 to medium 2. See here, this dotted line is a normal, n dash is a normal. So this ray of light is incident at this point on the surface of the interface. This ray of light is incident at the surface of the interface. This is the point of incidence. After that you are getting this line. This is the refracted line. Incident line, refracted line. Incident ray, refracted ray. Yes. The velocity of the light ray in the medium 1 is V1. The velocity of the light ray in the medium 1 is V1. Similarly, the velocity of the refracted ray or the velocity of this ray in the medium 2 is V2. See here, this is the denser medium. Here it is the rarer medium. This is rarer medium, this is denser medium. That means ray of light is coming from rarer medium to rarer medium and passing through denser medium. Here it is incidenting and passing through denser medium. Similarly, please observe here, this is medium 1 and this is medium 2. Here, this is the denser medium. The upper portion is the denser medium, the lower portion is the rarer medium. That means this is quite opposite. Here, this is the rarer medium, this is denser medium. Here, this is denser medium and this is rarer medium. That means here again, BC is the interface of the both the media. Here, this is the normal. Here, the ray of light emerging or coming from denser medium after point of incidence, after inciding at the surface of the interface, it is passing through this way. So this is the refracted ray, incidenting ray, refracted ray, incidenting ray, refracted ray. Please observe both the refracted rays in the lower portion, and what do you notice? Please observe here, this is the normal and this is the refracted ray in this one. Similarly, this is the normal and this is the refracted ray in this portion. Please observe, what do you notice by observing these two? Yes, somebody is answering. Very good. Here we can find the refracted ray is bending towards the normal in this diagram. Here the refracted ray, this is the refracted ray. This refracted ray is bending towards the normal here. Whereas this refracted ray is bending away from the normal. This refracted ray is bending away from the normal. Why they are bending like that? Yes. First of all, we can say these two rays or rays of light are incidenting at the interface of the media. Yes, what happens? We are getting refracted rays. They are moving away from the normal. That means refraction has taken place at the surface of the both the media or at the interface of the both the media. The refraction of light phenomena has taken place. As at whenever the refraction takes place, what is the condition? There should be change in velocity. Whenever there is a change in velocity, automatically the refraction will be observed there. Here, see here in the medium 1, the velocity of light is V1. Here the velocity of the light is V2. For example, I am saying this is the denser medium, this is the rarer medium. So, for example, the velocity V2 is less than the velocity V1. The velocity V2, if the velocity V2 is less than the velocity V1, then you can say this is the rarer medium, this is the denser medium. So in denser medium, what is happening? It is moving towards the normal. So we can say our assumption is correct. This is denser and this is rarer. See, coming to this one, here I have chosen the denser medium. the light ray is passing through this one. For example, you take water here. This is water, this is glass, and this is water. So the ray is coming from water and going to the air. So again, you can observe this refracted ray is moving away from the normal. That means here again, the velocity of light here is v2 in this medium. The velocity of light in this medium is v1. Again, if v2 is less than or greater than. If v2 is greater than v1, then what happens? It is a rarer medium. It is a denser medium. So in this, there is a difference in the medium, that is denser one and rare one. So the ray of light is coming from denser and passing through rarer. That's why the bending of light takes more. Here the bending of light is very less. Here the bending of light is more. That's why this refracted ray bends away from the normal. So from this we can conclude that when a ray of light is passing from rarer medium to denser medium, the refracted ray moves towards the normal. Similarly, when the ray of light passing from denser medium to rarer medium, the refracted ray moves away from the normal. These are the two conditions. What about the third one? Already I told you, whenever the ray of light is incidenting normally to the surface of both the media, it cannot change, it cannot bend. Also, you cannot find any refracted ray. So that is the third condition. See here, the ray of light is incidenting here. So that's why this is called as ray of incidence. So here the ray of incidence is in rarer medium. See here, at the point of the incidence, this ray is coming out. So this is in denser medium. This is called, in this pattern, this is called refracted ray. So here the incident ray is in rarer medium. Here the refracted ray is in denser medium. Similarly, here this is the ray of incidence and this is the ray of refraction or incidenting ray, refracted ray. Here the incidenting ray is in denser medium, whereas the refracted ray is in rarer medium. So incident rays and refracted rays. Now please observe, this ray of incidence is subtending an angle with normal. Here the ray of incidence or incidenting ray is subtending certain angle with the normal. This is called as angle of incidence I. This is called as angle of incidence I. Similarly, this refracted ray is subtending an angle with the normal. This is called angle of refraction R. So there are two angles, angle of incidence and angle of refraction. Angle of incidence is the ray of incidence which is subtending certain angle with the normal is called as angle of incidence I. Next, the second one is angle of refraction. The refracted ray which is subtending an angle, certain angle with the normal. So this is called angle of refraction. It can be denoted by R. Similarly, you can observe here angle of incidence I and angle of refraction R. See here, if the refracted ray is in denser medium, the angle of refraction is less. Please, again I am repeating, if the ray of refraction is in denser medium, the angle of refraction is very less. If the refracted ray is in rarer medium, the angle of refraction will be more. That is the 2 points you must be put in your memory. And then coming to the next one, next topic. So this is all refraction of light. In order to understand the phenomena refraction of light at plane surfaces, one constant is needed. Constant is known as refractive index. It is denoted by small letter n. Yes, we can derive a small equation for this refractive index. For example, suppose the light is passing through the vacuum medium with a velocity of light c. Ray of light is passing through the vacuum with a velocity of light c. C means C is equal to 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. The same light is passing through another medium which is coming from the vacuum. The light which is coming from the vacuum is passing through the another medium. In that medium, the velocity of light is less than this one. The velocity of light in that medium is less than this one. So this can be represented by small v. So we have two velocities of lights. First one is velocity of light in vacuum. Second one is the v is the velocity of light in another medium. So now we are going to calculate the refractive index n. It can be defined as the refractive index of the medium n is the ratio of velocity of light in vacuum to the velocity of the light in particular medium. So n is equal to velocity of light in vacuum by velocity of light in another medium or particular medium. So n is equal to c by v. So this is the ratio of two things. So normally it cannot have any units, and also it is a dimensionless quantity. It is the dimensionless quantity. N is equal to c by v. So that is called as refractive index. This refractive index states that the velocity of light in the other medium is the nth part of the velocity of light in vacuum. So this is all about refractive index. For example, refractive indices of the sum of the material. You take air. Refractive index of the medium air 1.0003. Similarly, ice, refractive index of the ice 1.31. Next, water 1.33. Next, kerosene 1.44. Next, fused quartz, one of the material of glass. Fused quartz is 1.47. Next, turpentine oil is 1.52, like that, and diamond is 2.54. So these are the refractive indices of the sum of the materials. So basing upon these materials, we can understand the one of the property of the refractive index of the medium. Next, for example, the refractive index of the glass is 3/2. They have given that the refractive index of the particular glass, that is medium, is 3/2. Now find out the velocity of light in that medium. For example, a ray of light is passing through the some medium. The refractive index of that medium is 3/2. Then they are asking find out the velocity of the light in that medium. As by definition we know that n is equal to c by v. N they have given 3/2. C we know c is 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. So we have to find out v is equal to c by n. C is 3 into 10 power 8 by n is 3/2. That means 3 into 10 power 8 by 3 into 2. These three get cancelled. So the velocity is v is equal to 2 into 10 power 8 meters per second. See, please observe here, velocity of the light in vacuum is 3 into 10 power 8. The velocity of light in the particular medium, it is 2 into 10 power 8. So just you please recall, I already told you there is a change in velocity of the light, then only refraction occurs. So automatically the velocity of light is changing. So there may be a refraction of light in that medium. So this is all refractive indexes. And next come to the next small topic, relative refractive index. Relative refractive index. Yes, we know density, relative density, density, relative density. Similarly, refractive index and relative refractive index. Yes. By definition, the refractive index of the any material or any medium is the velocity of light in vacuum, that is C, by velocity of light in medium, that is V. For example, this is V1 and this is V2. Then what happens? N21 is equal to V1 by V2. V1 by V2. Now divide both numerator and denominator by C. Then what happens? N21 is equal to V1 by C by V2 by C. N is equal to C by V. N is equal to C by V. So V1 by C, that is 1 by N1. So N21 is equal to 1 by N1 by 1 by N2. This becomes 1 by N1 into N2 by 1. So you can get N2 by N1. So this is called refractive index, relative refractive index of the medium. Relative refractive index. That means N21 is equal to the, what is N? Refractive index of the second medium by refractive index of the first medium. Refractive index of the second medium by refractive index of the first medium. This is called as relative refractive index. Okay. So next topic is total internal reflection of light. Total internal reflection of light. See, please observe here. This is the denser medium and this is the rarer medium. Upper portion is the denser one, lower portion is the rarer one. So this A and B is the demarking line or the interface of the both the media. AB is the interface line of the both the media. So N dash is the normal. See, for example, a ray of light is incidenting on the surface of the interface with 0 degrees. That means here it is incidenting at N dash. That is the angle of I is 0 degrees. So we already know for normal incidence there is no refraction. That means it cannot deviate. The light ray cannot deviate. That means you cannot find any refracted ray in the situation. Right. Next, coming to I is equal to, angle of incidence is equal to 15 degrees. Say here, so the angle is 15 degrees here. So this ray is subtending an angle 15 degrees from this one. So whenever it incidents at the N dash, this is the normal, it deviates from the normal. We already know whenever the light ray is coming from denser to rarer, the refracted ray moves away from the normal. So we can draw like this. Again you increase the angle, that is 20 degrees. Angle of incidence is 20 degrees. Now it is 20 degrees. Again it moves away from the normal. Then put this time you some 30 degrees. I is equal to 30 degrees. Now in this case, the ray grazes the surface of the interface. So this is the first refracted ray, this is the second refracted ray. For the third one, that is I is equal to 30 degrees or 35 degrees, what it may be. At this angle, the refracted ray grazes the surface of the interface. So at this, please observe the angle will be 90 degrees. Whenever the ray grazes the surface of the interface, the angle subtended by this incident ray with the normal is known as critical angle. This is called as critical angle. So whenever the angle of refraction is 90 degrees, the critical angle is the angle of incidence. This can be denoted by English letter C. So again, you can increase the angle of incidence by either 5 degrees or 8 degrees or 10 degrees. This time the ray passes into the denser medium. That means the ray cannot come into the rarer medium. It passes into the same medium, that is denser medium. So this concept is known as total internal reflection. Whenever the angle of incidence is greater, the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle, then the refracted ray goes into the same medium or the denser medium. So this concept is known as total internal reflection. Yes. Now we are going to derive sin c is equal to n2 by n1. Small derivation. Here the light ray is traveling from denser to rarer medium. Here the refractive index of the denser medium is n2, n1. The refractive index of the rarer medium is n2. See here at the critical angle position. So I is the angle of incidence, that is equal to critical angle C. Then the refractive angle is R, that is 90 degrees. Here refractive angle is greater than critical angle. From Snell's law, we can have n1 sin I is equal to n2 sin R. From Snell's law, n1 sin I is equal to n2 sin R. Now n1 by n2 is equal to sin R by sin I. This is equal to sin R, that is sin 90 degrees by sin R. Sin R by sin I. Sin R is sin 90 degrees by sin I is sin critical angle C. So sin 90 is equal to value 1 by sin C. So n1 by n2 is equal to 1 by sin C. We have sin C is equal to n2 by n1. So we have to derive sin C is equal to n2 by n1. So sin C is equal to n2 by n1. So this is the critical angle of this sin ratio of the critical angle is equal to refractive index of the second medium by refractive index of the first medium. This is the small derivation. Okay. Yes. Coming to the last session of this lesson, we are going to learn applications of total internal reflection of light. The first one is mirages. It is the optical illusion activity. Mirage means the optical illusion activity. We can observe this in deserts and also on damper roads at the time of summer and also in the midday of the midday time. Next, second one is brilliance of diamonds. So the critical angle of the diamond is 24.4 degrees. So the total reason of the brilliance of diamonds is the total internal reflection of the light. Whenever the light enters into the diamond, it undergoes total internal reflection many times. That's why the diamond shines very bright. Third one is optical fibers. Optical fiber system is made up of thin glass filaments in a bunch form. Thin glass filaments in a bunch form. So that is called as light pipe. So in this light pipe, the ray of light is sent and can undergo total interreflection many times. So that is the optical fibers. Next one is checkup of internal organs of the body. So we cannot see all the body parts which are inside the body. So for that, in order to know about the body system of the internal organs, the doctors can send optical fiber pipe into the internal side of the, for example, intestine of the body. Then they can send a light in one way. After that, the part will be illuminated, and the same thing will be come to the outside through another pipe and forms the image on the computer screen. Then it can be studied by the doctors. Next one is transmitting communication signals. See, 2000 telephone calls will be sent through a optical fiber without any intervention. So, without any interference or intervention, number of telephone calls and number of image calls and number of communication signals will be sent through this optical fiber because of the application of total internal reflection. So these are the applications of total internal reflection. Yes. Now I am going to recapitulate the lesson by asking 5 or 6 questions to you. Please try to answer these questions so that I can understand how much content you have received from me. So first one is, when the ray of light is traveling from rarer to denser medium, when a ray of light is traveling from rarer to denser medium, then where do you find the refracted ray, and also what is the status of the refracted ray? Where do you find the refracted ray and what is the status of the refracted ray? This is the question. Yes, the answer is, we can find the refracted ray in denser medium, and also this refracted ray bends towards the normal. That is the answer. Next, second question is, the equation for refractive index, that is N, is equal to how much? The equation for refractive index, that is N, is equal to how much? This is a simple question that you can answer. Yes, somebody is answering. N is equal to C by V, velocity of light in vacuum by velocity of light in another medium. So that is the second question. Next, I am going to ask the third question. What is the principle involved in the formation of mirages? What is the principle involved in the formation of mirages? Okay, somebody is saying total internal reflection of light, TIR, total internal reflection of light. So that is the answer for third question. And coming to the fourth one, what is the cause of brilliance of diamonds? What is the cause of brilliance of diamonds? Anybody may give answer. Okay, very good. The answer is total internal reflection of light, and also the critical angle of the diamond. The basing upon these two, the diamond gives high brilliance. That is the answer of fourth question. And the last one, fifth one is, equation for sin C is equal to, just now I derived sin C is equal to how much? In terms of refractive index. I want the answer in terms of refractive index. Yes, sin C is equal to N2 by N1. So in terms of refractive index of the second medium by refractive index of the first medium. So sin C is equal to N2 by 1. So these are the answers that I have asked under the part of recapitulation. So the last one is the, before the completion of lesson, the last thing is worksheet. So this worksheet can be sent through your groups. So please copy that or download that worksheet and try to answer those questions. Okay. With this, the first part of the refraction of light at plane surfaces is ended. We can meet it in the second part, in the second session. Okay, thank you.